Mom, who am I?
You are a gift. We believe that you came here for a reason. I know it's been difficult for you lately, that you feel different from other kids.
Just the floor, Brian.
You are different.
Caitlin, get my hand up.
He's a creep.
Help him up.
What are you doing?
Hvad nu hvis Superman ikke var blevet til den gode og retskafne Clark Kent, men i stedet havde udviklet sig til en sadistisk superskurk? Netop det interessante tankeeksperiment danner rammen om Brightburn, en af dette års mest omtalte superheltefilm.
I will never turn against our son.
He's not my son.
Brightburn er en underholdende og uhyggelig film, og den unge James Gunn er skræmmende troværdig som en brutal dræberdreng. Filmen er netop udkommet i Danmark på hjemmevideo og on demand, og vi interviewede forleden filmens instruktør, David Yarovesky, som allerede har en hel del gyser på CV'et, blandt andet The Hive fra 2014.
Come closer. Come closer. Closer.
Yarovesky har også arbejdet lidt foran kameraet. Faktisk havde han en sjov og bitte birolle i Marvels første Guardians of the Galaxy-film, hvor i han spillede en såkaldt Ravager, som kom i karambolage med antiheltinden Nebula. Guardians of the Galaxy blev skrevet og instrueret af filmmageren James Gunn, som er en af Yaroveskys allerbedste venner. Gunn har produceret Brightburn, som i øvrigt er skrevet af James Gunns bror og fætter. Ja, et stærkt filmhold har altså i fællesskab skabt en stærk lille film.
Just run it again, faster.
Creepy kids, they're sort of a classic horror movie staple, you know, like the long-haired girl in The Ring, the twins in The Shining, Children of the Corn, Damien, and so on. So what is it about them that makes them such compelling horror antagonists? I mean, is it that sort of freaky mix of innocence and evil, or the fact that you can't really reason with them in the same way as a grown adult, or what do you think it is?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? I think it's because of their innocence. You know, like, you look at a child and he looks innocent, but if you hold on him too long or he's looking at you in the way in which Brandon looks at people at times, you know, something feels wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I always think that, like, taking things that feel the sweetest and most innocent and turning them scary in some way becomes the scariest of things. You know, look at the clown in It.
Yeah.
There was a time, I imagine, that people didn't look at clowns and think that they were terrifying. But once that changed in our minds, it's hard to not.
Jackson Dunn is brilliant in the role of Brandon, and I was wondering if it was difficult finding the right kid, you know, someone who could both work as a sort of sympathetic, sort of Clark Kent-ish boy, but also as a sort of manifestation of evil at the same time.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be difficult. I had heard from many friends who had worked on movies where kids had very major roles in it that, you know, that it could be difficult. But we got really lucky, you know. Yeah, we got something like 200 tapes from our casting office, and Jackson's was the first one we all watched.
Yeah.
And we all loved him and felt an immediate wave of confidence that this isn't going to, you know, be difficult.
Yeah.
And he was smart and had some really interesting thoughts about the character and engaged with me, and it was really great.
Cool.
You have to know that your dad and I, we believe that you came here for a reason, that you are special, and that you're gonna do incredible.
You lied to me!
We just wanted to take care of you, and we always planned.
You lied to me! You lied! Take the gold. Take the gold. 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 Take the world. Take the world.
I actually wanted to ask you, like, who sent this kid? It's not revealed in the film, but did you and the writers, think about that? Make up a whole backstory of some sort of screwed up Krypton where everyone's a super serial killer or something?
Yeah, I certainly did. And there are aspects of his story that we definitely withheld. But who knows, maybe someday in the future we'll be able to explore those aspects.
Cool. But I've read that you have a huge affinity for villains in general, so I'd love to hear, why is that? Where does that stem from, that interest?
I truly don't know. I mean, I think that comes with loving horror movies, Mm-hmm. When you say you love A Nightmare on Elm Street, it's not because you feel an affinity towards, like, Tina or Nancy. It's like, you think Freddy Krueger is cool.
Yeah.
When you love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's not because you love any one of the individual characters who are struggling to stay alive. There's a part of you, I think, especially in that genre, in the slasher genre, where you kind of root for the bad guy to some extent.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe because I came up just being incredibly inspired by that genre of movies, but I don't think so. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people who feel that way. I mean, the Joker is coming out, and people are incredibly excited for that movie, as I am.
Yeah.
And I think that why the villain does what he does and how he ticks and all of that is fascinating at times.
But like, you were just mentioning Joker before, and I couldn't help but think that with that and a film like Brightburn as well, do you think like we're entering an era where there's more openness towards playing with the rules of the superhero genre, maybe doing stuff like Brightburn on an even bigger budget, that sort of stuff, to experiment more with the rules of the genre?
Oh, 100%. It's not lost on me that, when you see Marvel announce their new string of movies, that they seem to be pushing even more into genre post Brightburn, and I think that you're going to see just more and more of this, and not just horror, but like in every dimension you could possibly push it. And I think that that's what is exciting. For 10 years, comic book movies have been, kind of straightforward origin hero stories, and we needed that 10 years because while there is a corner of the population that reads these comics and kind of knows the characters and knows the world quite well, it's not everyone. And people needed to learn about all these characters and see all that stuff before you can subvert it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
15 years ago, Brightburn is just probably a bit more confusing to people. But because heroic origin stories are just so in the zeitgeist, taking it and subverting it in fun ways feels fresh now.
Yeah.
I mean, I seriously hope, but I imagine you'll just see more and more, genres and subgenres being explored. I mean, look, Joker's a perfect example. I mean, Joker is Taxi Driver, in a comic book world, and how incredibly exciting is it that we live in a world where we get to go watch, some of the best actors in the world go be the Joker in a Taxi Driver-esque movie.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty great.
As you said earlier, there might still be some stuff within this universe that could be explored, and James Gunn himself revealed on Instagram, I think it was back in July, that there'd already been early conversations about a Brightburn sequel. Is that still very much in the early stages? Can you give us any sort of update?
I can't really say anything to that effect. But this is what I would say is that, like, and this is sort of my canned answer, but I'm a fan of letting you know that it's a canned answer, which is that one of the things that I thought was really successful and fun about releasing Brightburn was being completely secretive about making the movie, and then one day just dropping a trailer that caught everyone off guard. And I hope that becomes part of the Brightburn brand. And if we were to make any more movies in this universe, that it would follow that trend.
No.
Whatever you've done, I know there is good inside you.
Tori! You're safe now. We got it.